How are we all doing, my blessed dear ones? I'm so glad to see that you're all doing well down the road, except for a few. And this video is probably going to be a little stronger, I think, than some of the other ones I made because some of the comments that have been made by Sherry Watts and Lisa Lopez, and so I do want to deal with Sherry Watts. This is even a chiropractor here, which is amazing to me that she would make these kind of comments. She's runs wholesale out of here and stuff, and these comments are just shows the level of unawareness this person has. So let's talk about this. I want to make this video again, and this is probably how many times have we talked about the healing crisis? You know, so let's talk about this a bit, because this is very, very important for most of you to understand. Sherry Watts, you should understand this by now, by far. So in some of these comments, the first time I read this, I said to myself, you know, this is the human state of consciousness. It's fear-based. It's hard to deal with because you have people like this. It was rude. Your comments were very rude. I didn't like your insinuations here. What you said about the clinic and stuff. Try going somewhere else. And you're a chiropractor and you made this comment about you should actually see a doctor. Well, Sherry, I don't think you've been sick enough. You need to see a few more medical doctors before you realize truth. And go ahead. So this is a little, everyone here is a little wound up about you and what you said here because they know who you are and they know about you and stuff. And I think you were way out of line here, way out of line. So let's talk about that a minute. Let's talk about the healing crisis, because there's no school that you're going to go to that's going to tell you about them except naturopathic school. And, you know, most of the naturopathic schools today are horrible. So this is the problem, understanding what healing crises are, trying to figure out whether you're getting worse or getting better. And I've said this before, your symptoms happen twice. Symptomology happens twice. One when you're creating it, two when you're uncreating it. These are the two times you're going to have symptoms. These symptoms have a wide variety, a range unbelievable. Just look up the word diseases and you'll see the range of acidosis and what goes on with cells and the fluids that take care of those cells. That's what we're dealing with, a whole range of this. My gift this lifetime has been able to simplify all this for you guys so you can have a remedy, so you can understand and have a remedy, because the negative forces control the mind. They like to make it so complex that it makes you fear-based and then controlled by those that represent the negative forces, like allopathy, governmental agencies, things like this. This is how governments take over their people because people are so fear-based. I've never seen species so fear-based in my life. That's why animals and plants are so much better to work with. It is somewhat difficult. Jennifer, Brenda, myself, Kathy, we're all the most advanced in our understanding of that. Of detox and all of that. Drew and Shannon are fairly new, but they do understand it. So when you call in a healing crisis, we are not sure how to deal with that sometimes. Sometimes we pull you off of the herbs so it'll back it down a little bit for you. Sometimes we tell you to increase the herbs. We have to play with this like you have to play with this. There's no school that tells you this is what you do when this happens. So you got to understand that, Sherry, and all you other people that are involved in some of these things that get twisted out of shape. Pain's a horrible thing, there's no question. And I have a deep, deep sympathy for those in pain. But we've all created this ourselves. We came into these genetically modified bodies, and now we have to deal with these things. And thank God there's enough information and knowledge from people like us and those that have worked in this field. We run a very top-notch clinic here. We're very ethical and everything else. We don't rip people. We don't do anything. And anyone that insinuates that, get off of my site, because I do everything for you guys to help you to get well. And there's just no book on this. So I've seen, like I said, probably 150,000 people in my life. I know that the natural hygienic people have detoxed hundreds of thousands of people through the years. So there are people that have done fasting and detoxing, Arnold Ehret. So yes, we have some information through all these years from people who have done this, groups that have done this, but This is a wide range problem, and that is unwinding what you've created in your body. Even though you might have created this unconsciously, it is now becoming conscious, and that's why we're doing this site, to help you all become conscious, become aware. So you're no more a victim, you're no more fear-based. And Sherry, you as a chiropractor should know better. So this is part of the problem. So I hope I'm talking to the right person here. We've looked you up. This is a comment, I think, on Facebook and stuff, and it was just too rude. It just pissed us all off. And maybe that's why you said that. And yes, when you call here to this clinic, we're going to try to help you the best we can. We spend all day free helping people on the phones. Now, how do I pay for those people? And that's my point, is we're all trying our best. I have to educate my staff. It's hard to have, we're so busy, it's hard to have meetings to help them. We're all tired all the time by working so much. So just realize we're doing everything we can to help mankind, because it is tough. Man is in deep trouble. And some of you guys are in deep trouble with your health issues. No question about it. And unwinding this isn't like that. Unwinding that is a bit of a job. And you have to roll up your sleeves and grab this like you would tear open anything and take it on. Learn what you can, because we're only helping you as much as we can. I mean, there's no one that has all the answers anywhere out there. So there's times when the healing crisis can be so strong that we take you off all the herbs. Sometimes we leave you on one or two. Sometimes once in a blue moon, an herbal formula could be the problem. Rare that is the case. Most healing crises are simply acidosis reversing itself. Simply what is going on in the body reversing itself. And I've said this before, understanding the lymph system is very, very important, and understanding the kidneys. You'll find that nowhere on this planet. This is a problem. Very few of us have expertise in this field. So this is why it's very difficult, because we've been suppressed for years. Very few of you understand what we older people have been through in this field. Threatened constantly by states, locked up, fraud, felonies and stuff like this. I mean, it's unreal what the negative forces have done through the governmental agencies to block your ability to have this knowledge. That's the bottom line to this. And so you're lucky to even have this knowledge. We're lucky to be here to give it to you. And that's sad to say in the universes of God. You know what I mean? If everybody wakes up and realizes they're just instruments for God, maybe we would turn things around, and governments, or the people in the governments are just people. Narcissistic control freaks. And this is the problem. We've allowed this to happen because we're fear-based. Well, I submit to you guys, don't be fear-based. Be strong in your knowledge and your awareness. You guys are gaining tremendous knowledge by detoxifying yourselves. You know, you're gaining it. And I learn every day from this. I do. I learn from all of you guys. And I've learned for 40 years from all of you guys. Sure, I've read a lot through my lifetime. Yes, I've studied. Yes, I've went to a lot of different schools. And I picked up all information from my clients and from the schools that I've attended. So, but this grouping of all this information is all we can do for you. So we do our very, very best. Sometimes we want to increase the herbs. This situation of detoxification is knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. So Sherry and Lisa, please, you've got to realize that we're doing our very best to help all of you. And that detox isn't something you can go read in a manual. I'm doing my best to give as much information about detox as there is. But the detox symptoms are probably a million strong. Who knows how many different symptoms you can have during detoxification. And sometimes it's rough. A lot of pain, a lot of problems. There's no question. Sometimes your bowels just cut off loose and you start running. Your body purges itself. Let me tell you, your body's doing all of this. Understanding the lymph system is so important, because if you have tumors up here in the head, in the brain, and in the neck, you can't get rid of them until all these lymph nodes are cleaned, and they must clean through the kidneys. So you've got cells feeding into septic tanks, which are lymph nodes, and then these lymph nodes are breaking down these acids and sending the rest out to the kidneys or through the skin. This is how the body works. This is how the body eliminates cellular waste. The problem we face is extreme kidney and adrenal gland weaknesses. And so we're having serious filtration problems of the giant lymphatic system. And you can forget allopathy because they're the worst. They have no knowledge of this. Chiropractors are not very knowledgeable at this, unfortunately, because I have a ton of friends that are chiropractors and I love them all. But you got to get with it because a lot of the things you learned in school is not true. The same thing with a lot of sciences out there. There's theories that are baseless. And so you just have to learn that all of us are in our own expertises, and you have to trust what we know. And if you're not getting satisfaction with Drew or Shannon, well, by all means, ask Jennifer or myself. Because outside of that, we're the same way. We're going to pull, we're going to draw. Every time someone calls me in serious healing crisis, I've got to determine right then and there what I have to do to help you with that. What spice do you have at home? What do you have at home to help the symptoms, the spasticity or whatever, bleeding or whatever? This is a serious process of getting well. I try to make fun of it so we can all have fun with this, because there is the serious side of this. But the other serious side of this is the cancers, the pain, and everything else that people are experiencing. And if you look through the tremendous YouTubers that are doing this and getting well, I think you ought to take note of that. I think you guys on the YouTube and on the Facebooks have just literally kicked butt. But when you're a practitioner and you're working with people, you've got to get with this. And Sherry, you're a practitioner. That's even more disgusting that you would write something like that. I mean, it's just, I'm appalled at that. And so you're probably going to get a little call from Jennifer too. Not nice, because we're just trying to help everybody the best we can. And healing crises are something else. Your tumors can grow, your tumors can do all kinds of things before you can remove them, no question. The fact that there is a remedy, it should be well understood, but most people are so lost with medical stupidity that they don't realize that there's a remedy to their problems. We have got so lost, we forgot there's a constitution in this country. We're so lost, we forgot there's a remedy to getting well and healthy. And so it's time we stand up and take that awareness back. So I apologize for those of you that have to hear this like this, but it's just, you've got to get with these healing crises. They are not fun. Matter of fact, my significant other and I had salmonella poisoning over the weekend. We can't figure it out. Lettuce, tomatoes, we're trying to see what out of the foods we ate could give us that. And so we were deathly sick. Did I call someone and say, well, what can... No. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand these healing crises and just what they can be and what happens when we're sick, and how we have to help ourselves to purge our bodies and get this stuff out of ourselves. And so understanding how you get sick is part and parcel to understanding healing crisis and detoxification. And what is detoxification? I'm not sure that a lot of people truly understand what detoxification really is. I mean, I read a book called something about detoxification by a medical doctor, and it was the most stupidest book I've ever read. And it was like, oh my God, here's people giving opinions that are not even in the field. So it's just, you're in a world, and I think this is why Jesus went crazy at the marketplace. You know, it's a marketplace, and sometimes it drives me crazy just like Jesus did. Just a marketplace of different levels of unconsciousness and unawareness. For the most of you, I'm so proud of you guys, I just can't even tell you. But that's why I want us all to lock together a strong bond, because we're in a very inert plane, we're a very inert planet. Human consciousness is almost inert. The mind is out of control. It jumps from highly narcissistic to can't even think. I mean, there's so many problems here on all levels that we have to work it out. And this is why developing yourself spiritually and developing your health is by all means should be one's priority. I think it's your survival into the next lifetime, your survival now. And I think those survival tools include the knowledge of detoxification, the knowledge of of controlling the mind instead of the mind controlling you, those sort of things. And so learning detoxification, very, very important. Learning healing crisis. And I mean, you know, some of them have sent people to the emergency room, no question. I send people to the emergency room probably once a month or so. But better to be safe than sorry, because they do have some tools in the ER that can help support you. And it's not the detox that's doing it, it's your body that's the problem. It's not detoxification that's the problem, it's your body. Your body is what you have to deal with. Highly acidic, weak kidneys, weak adrenal glands, nervous system's down, bad livers, colons are a mess. So that's what I'm saying. We've got a lot of work, and you'll see that by comments like this of people that are suffering, and I have no doubt that these two are suffering. But you're going to have different opinions when you call here because there's no book out there. I try to educate, like I said, our new people as much as we can. But we don't know. We try to take you off the herbs and see if that'll relieve some of your symptoms. Sometimes we put you on just a couple to see if that'll take them away or help them. We don't want to take away all your symptoms, and we have to determine whether those symptoms are life-threatening or maybe you're not doing the program and you know, whatever you're dealing with is getting worse because of that, because a lot of people lie to us. We see this all the time. People call in, are you all right? Yeah, and you can tell they're not. And then you start talking, and then pretty soon they're having fish and they're having all these other things. So, you know, and I see this in my clients. You can tell when someone's all raw and when they're not. And so this is some of the things. You can't lie about this. So, and it doesn't matter. There's nothing here that matters except you and your survival through eternity, your awareness, and you as soul. Your bodies, they can be fixed. They can be changed. You can deal with these bodies by learning how to get them well. Controlling the mind is a big factor out there. Because again, the governments have learned this for years, control of the human mind. And how they control people and make everybody fear-based. Good example, look at the America in the elections. Ron Paul's the only one talking about the Constitution and liberty, and he's the last man on the totem pole. That's how fear-based man is. He's afraid to be free. Isn't that amazing? You guys, a lot of people are afraid to be free. I'm just so amazed at that. We're so fear-based. And so in this country, this whole thing with Bush and Cheney and Bin Laden, the old groups and everything, you know, the 9/11, boy, that just about ended America right there in so many ways. And so, you know, you got to overcome fear-based stuff. And let's get into good detoxification and having fun here. Because you got to have fun no matter what pain you're in or discomfort you're in. You know you're going to get better because you're doing everything you can to get better. Herbs never hurt you. Once in a while you have a healing crisis and an herbal formula didn't suit you well. That's why I showed you muscle testing. If you think an herbal formula is not good for you, don't feel right with it, definitely muscle test yourself on this. Chiropractors are good at muscle testing, at least those that know kinesiology. And you should always go to a chiropractor that knows kinesiology. Much more informative medical chiropractor. But I taught classes for years with a chiropractor. He just graduated from Palmer, and I just got out of Brant Ridge, and so we teamed up and taught classes for a while. We bumped heads quite a bit at first because he was taught a lot of misinformation in A&P, anatomy and physiology. But that's because professors are like this as well. Most college professors are locked in the same thing. Very few people go beyond conditioned thought and see things for what they are. And I hope that I've done that and was able to bring you things that are beyond what the conditioned mind has understood. That's the importance of being spiritual and developing your ability to be in the now. Your ability to see things is incredible versus thought. Thought is focused attention. But being in the now is unfocused attention, and your ability to see how life interacts definitely goes way up there. So again, for you YouTubers, I apologize, David. I love you all, but sometimes we get comments like this and you shake the foundation of our clinic, and we've been helping hundreds and hundreds, tens of thousands of people worldwide, and our success rate speaks for itself, to be honest with you. So comments like this, derogatory, especially from someone that should know better, is just a little, needs to be addressed. And when you come out with this, I'm going to address it because I'm just not going to let that stand. It's just I'm tired of letting things stand and people making comments that are just have no basis for it. So anyway, I hope this finds you well. I'm going to cut this video and then I'm going to start one that we'll get in a little bit better space there. But I love you all. Remember, detoxification healing crisis can be many, from swelling to pain. And yes, we don't know if you're filtering good and if your symptom is you're getting worse or you're getting better. If you're doing all raw and you're doing the herbs, that's the best you can do. That's the best out there that you can find. If you can find something else, please let us know. You're at the top of the mountain, so you have to ride with it. If things swell, they'll go down. And if pain comes up, it'll go down. If pain doesn't go away, that's a problem. Then yes, you should have yourself checked. But then what are you going to do about it? You only have a couple of viable options allopathically, and the most viable options allopathically is surgery. Because outside of that, most of you know what taking chemical medications do to you. Most of you are having tremendous suffering because of the treatment-based thinking of allopathy. And those that haven't suffered enough, maybe you ought to try that for a while. And then you'll really appreciate this level of thinking, because this is the highest level of thinking on this planet. You can't get higher. There is none. You can add different things. You can add the spices and you can add essential oils if you're real careful. There's so many neat things. When you look at nature, my God, that is life. That is everything on the planet. Man just decided that he was better and that his narcissistic, immature mind, of course, made him think he was better than God. And, of course, God made him in his own image. That makes me want to throw up. So, I mean, there's just so much out there that is just unreal at this human level of consciousness. Just some of it's disgraceful. But with that said, you guys are incredible beings. You practitioners out there, this is what you're going to run into. And I'm going to tell you, there is no A, B, C, D, E, F, G in detoxification. It does not exist. We know certain things. Yeah, we can withdraw. We can tell you to have some cooked food to slow down the detoxification. Or we can tell you to speed it up and go fast. We don't know. We're going to try one way. If it doesn't work, we're going to go another way. That's what we all try to do out there, is help you through this so you're as most comfortable as you can, knowing that we can only do so much for you, that your body is the one that's taking you down this journey. We're only trying to see what your body's trying to do and how we can help your body do it. So just keep that in mind, and I've seen some of your comments. Some of you guys have gone through some horrendous healing crisis, and you didn't come out with an attitude like this Sherry and this other person. You ride these healing crises great. Some of you you're so loving that when you go through these, you know it, and you say, I know I love you guys because you're a joy to work with. Because you're just a love from the heart. So many of you guys are just love incarnated. I just love you so much. But once in a while, you get someone like this who just doesn't get it. And I suggest that those people read a lot more books. I don't care. Read things from the natural hygienic community. Read about people who have done fasting and raw foods in their lives. You don't go to a medical doctor and ask him about fasting and detoxification. And I don't go, and you don't come to me and ask me about chemical medications. Because even though I know about them and I am very familiar with a lot of them, it's not my field. And I don't care about them. But I don't want them to hurt you. But I can just tell you that this is my field. And when a medical doctor gives a claim against herbs or detoxification, consider the source. This person is acting from a position of ignorance because he's not had as many years or time, and probably none. And we got a good surgeon in town. He's pretty good, He took some weekend classes and now he's an acupuncturist. That's scary. I mean, this is the sort of thing that is out there. And so we just have to get knowledgeable and control your own way. This is why I'm trying to get you guys to be the power yourself. Get powered up and don't be a leaf blowing in the wind. Don't let anybody take your joy or your power away from you. And so most of you are just kicking butt, got a hold of this, know when there's ups and downs, and those are the true healers out there. People that cry like babies like this, they don't make good healers because they're fear-based. So I love you all. I apologize that you all had to view this video. I really do, because it just takes me off of my balance sometimes to have to deal with this, but we have to deal with this. Detoxification is serious business. Healing crisis can be serious business, but no one dies from healing crisis. If someone dies, it's from the treatment of a healing crisis or a treatment of a condition. Not the natural way of detoxification. You can feel like you're going to die. There's no question about it. But we also have to look at low blood sugars, low blood pressures. We have to look at all kinds of things. If allopathy was to do anything, it should grow out of where it's at and come join us and help us with these advanced cases and help us through these cases. We all need to turn to detoxification, even adding it to it. Chiropractors need to detoxify while they're helping, because they know that it's a lymph system that makes the muscle stiff, that pulls the bones. So that it's on and on. It's also the acids that break down the muscles and the bones. So learning this whole thing is important to every modality out there, from acupuncture to chiropractics to allopathy. It's important that everyone understand the gig here and then use what you know to be true. It's okay to use chemical medications and allopathy if you only do it for short term, like a week or two, while you're helping the person getting better, getting well. But I see medical doctors stick people on 10, 15 medications and forget about them. They're done. So they're on these chemical medications for a lifetime. My God, the destruction of bone marrow and everything else in humans are assured. I mean, I was looking at that Enbrel commercial again last night. I just wanted to throw up that the FDA would allow that to take place. So understand, you're in a world that doesn't like you. You're in a world that people just want your money. They want to control you. We've just got some very serious problems in our consumer protection agencies, or what is touted as consumer protection agencies. Enbrel, fatal events, lymphoma, oh my God, the list is long. Strokes, uncontrollable infections. I mean, boom, 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 boom. I mean, you would allow something that on the market like that? That's why all the spiritual giants roll over, you know, when they hear stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, that's what makes this level so low on the totem pole. So some of what I'm telling you is a help to getting your next journey far better and way out of this area. If you don't want to come back to this low level, don't create any more at this low level. And then you're done. You're only experiencing your creation. Remember that. So again, I'm going to cut this video. I have time to go through some of your questions now. So let me have Chris get this up, and then I'll come back. So thank you. I apologize to most of you. Please don't be offended by this particular video. It's just what we've had to do to correct some of these misunderstandings here. And to think that our clinic, I mean, anybody that comes down on our clinic's coming down on me, and then I'm gonna respond to that, because we're doing our level best. If you don't believe it, maybe Sherry, you'll come here and work for us for free for a while, and that, yeah, you really get your hands involved in what life's all about here. So thank you so much. I love you all, and I even love you, Sherry, and you, Lisa, and all you guys. I understand you're just unaware. It's time you get more aware. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.